Hello, everyone, from the Matt Morris Digital Studio here in Fresno, California. This is the Beem and Dean Show with the sports director of KC24 and CBS 47, Scott Bemis. I am Dean Shiro. Welcome aboard. This is our episode 78, our year-end show.
All right.
We have something very special planned today. We're going to do the 10 best sports moments here in the Central Valley, the 5 best national sports moments overall, and then we're going to get into the college football quarterfinals again. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy everything, Scotty.
Yeah, Happy holidays to everybody
Period.
out there in the Central Valley. Always a special time of year and always a good time for sports, Dean, right? Maybe not Christmas Day necessarily, right? Although we do have some NFL, right, on Christmas Day, I believe.
We got some NBA, some NFL, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
There's more sports than we realize now on Christmas. Back when we were growing up, there wasn't really that much on Christmas, but it gets really good, right, as we head towards the new year.
Absolutely. All right, with that being said, Scotty and I are going to come on in hot. All right, this is our coming in hot segment. Normally we have a hot take or something we're passionate about, but since it's the year-end show, we're going to kind of make it a best of. So we're going to start with the 10 best moments in the Central Valley. My man's going to take control here, and here is the list. We're going to start with number 1.
Well, let's count down from 10. How about that?
And I would have put them in reverse order for you.
And we'll get there to number 1. No,
okay.
That's okay. These are what I felt were like kind of the biggest stories, right? Maybe not one particular moment, but the biggest stories in the Central Valley in 2025. So number 10 right there. Interested to get your thoughts. Love to get some golf in there.
Love it.
How about Chowchilla teenager Astris Towey? She
love
is a
her.
budding superstar on the golf course, and she came within a whisker of winning the Augusta National Women's Amateur, which has become one of the biggest women's golf tournaments in the world, either amateur or professional, to be honest. Yeah, she just missed out. She holed out a wedge, I think it was, on the very first hole of the final round on national television.
Yeah.
And then she went on to great success even after that. She was the junior PGA champion over the summer, which is like kind of a major in the junior ranks. She played on the junior Ryder Cup team. And she's also committed to Stanford now. We were wondering if she might try to go straight to the LPGA Tour, out of high school.
Not a bad place to go to college, is it?
No, not at all. And a certain Tiger Woods went to Stanford, right?
Yeah, and I know you got to go out there and swing the sticks with her a little bit. My man here is pretty much a scratch golfer. So tell me about your experience going out there with her.
Scratch golfer plus 7 or 8 maybe.
Oh, well,
Dean,
come on.
That's
come on, it's
okay.
the holiday show.
Yeah,
it's the season of giving.
I'll take it. I'll take the compliment.
Fair
That's
enough.
awesome. But yeah, no, I've always been impressed with Astris. I mean, first off, she carries herself beyond her years. And, anybody who saw the first time that she kind of stepped in front of the microphones at the U.S. Open, when she got into contention there a couple summers ago, just realized how genuine she comes across. And just, for a 15, 16-year-old to be thrust into the spotlight like she has from a small town like Chowchilla in California, it's pretty impressive how she's handled all of this attention. And she is going to be a success. I mean, she's got all the tools. She's strong. She's got the short game, and she's got the mental game. And I think that's really the biggest thing.
That's the key. She's not throwing any clubs in the lake, so that's a good sign right there. So, all right, let's get to number 9. We got our guy from Clovis East grad, right?
Yeah, I decided to get the golf stories out of the way right away, Dean, with number 9 there. And yeah, I put Bryson DeChambeau on the list here. Again, some of these stories occurred in the Central Valley, but some of these stories are just people who are from the Central Valley and something noteworthy that they've done. And I think Bryson DeChambeau remains one of the preeminent figures in the sport of golf. A couple more wins this year on the LIV Tour. Finished top 10 again, and has had a bunch of success in majors in recent years. In 3 of the 4 majors, finished top 10. Didn't win one, but had a T2 at the PGA Championship. Of course, he made the U.S. Ryder Cup team.
He did.
Was part of that dramatic comeback attempt by the U.S. on the final day. We saw some great emotion from Bryson there down the stretch.
Yep.
And then I think this is probably his biggest impact at this point. He is an absolute star on social media, and I think he gets it. He gets that golf needs to be more fun, and we're seeing it in all different areas of golf. With TGL, they recently had this thing called the Golf Games on Golf Channel, which was a lot of fun, and Bryson gets it. He does all kinds of fun stuff on social media. I mean, you see it there. He's got over 4 million followers on Instagram now.
Not too bad. Just a little bit under this show, actually. So,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so number 8, Josh Allen.
Yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory. The NFL is the biggest sport in the country. And we've got a Firebaugh native, a kid from Firebaugh who grew up in the West Valley, who's the reigning NFL MVP. enough said.
I thought
right?
there was a better number 8, actually. Josh Allen gets engaged to Haley Steinfeld, and they're expecting their first child. That's would have been my number 8, but let's move on. Number 7.
Former Central East star Cedric Coward. This guy burst onto the scene out of nowhere, and then he gets drafted in the first round of the NBA draft.
He's having a heck of a year, too, by the way.
He's one of the top rookies in the NBA right now. He stepped into a starting role with the Grizzlies, does a little bit of everything. Just the other night, I think last night, as we're taping this, 16 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, not a single turnover.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so Cedric Coward.
Great story, too. I know you interviewed his father, was it?
Yeah, interviewed his mom, his stepdad,
that's
well.
who it was, stepdad.
And then his grandfather is Maxie Parks,
yes.
the former Olympian, from Fresno.
A great story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah.
He kind of came out of nowhere. He went to a Division III school out of high school. Went to Willamette College, small Willamette College, then Eastern Washington, then Washington State, and then boom, he's in the NBA and he's excelling in the NBA.
Yeah, he's doing really, really great. Number 6, Carruthers girls basketball.
Hey, you got to get a small town like Carruthers into this list, right? When they
just some small town girls living in a lonely world.
When they win a state title, I mean, what they've done at Carruthers with that girls basketball program is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they compete with some of the top teams in the state on a regular basis, and they won another state championship. So props to Carruthers, and that story had an emotional part of it too, a component. As Larry Triguero, who is a long time just figure in that Carruthers sporting community, maybe the most important figure, and his daughter had come through the program as well, Morgan.
Sure.
He had passed away before they went on this run. And so in addition to just being a great story of winning a championship, to win it for Larry
great.
Even makes it
that much thinking
more
about
special.
The family too this holiday season as well. So number 5, Fresno State men's basketball.
Yeah, you said best stories at the beginning. I said, maybe not all these are the best stories, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Fresno State kind of making national headlines for the wrong reason last year, right? On the hardwood.
Yeah.
Fortunately for that program, I think, or at least the silver lining, I guess. I mean, there's not really a silver lining out of something like this, but at least, Fresno State handled it correctly.
Yeah. And they weren't the only program who had this issue, by the way. There were several.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it hit home.
Yeah, a couple bad apples. Making some really poor decisions, and it just reflected badly on Fresno State. I mean, it was a story that made national news for a couple weeks. So to me, it's one of the biggest stories of the year.
Central East, number 4.
This just happened, Dean. So maybe recency bias here, but Central East wins another state title. It's their second in school history, and this is the 3rd highest division here too, after the Open,
right?
And then Division, 1 AA, and so you got to beat somebody impressive to win a state title.
It really doesn't matter what the division is; it's a very tough road to win a state championship, no matter what. So, congratulations to those guys. That's great. So, anything else you want to add on number 4?
On Central East?
Yeah.
Well, just that type of the offense that they had, right? And the job that Kyle Biggs has done at Central East in just making them into a state power. I mean, they've got some young talent coming up in that program as well, so they're not going anywhere.
Good. That's awesome. Number 3, again, kind of a sad one for us here in the Central Valley, but it's got a happy ending too. Derek Carr retires from the NFL.
Yeah, got a feeling that we're going to be seeing Derek Carr back on a football field in some capacity here. Don't know when exactly, but you just get the feeling that he's going to step into the coaching realm in some capacity. And don't you think, Dean, at some point that could involve Fresno State?
Why wouldn't it? Absolutely. I mean, honestly, him and his brother both very, very, very good football minds. David does a lot of work with the NFL Network. So, and they've got a podcast too that's got a few less viewers than we've got. So they're making their way up. We'll see. They might get to our status soon.
They're a competitor, right? They're our competitor.
They might get to our status soon, but we love all the podcasts. We're big fans.
That kind of came out of nowhere, right? Dean,
yeah.
Derek Carr retiring from the NFL. I mean, this is a guy in his prime. And you figured he had another at least 3 to 5 years in him. But, it just shows the type of character that Derek has too, that he didn't want to have to put himself through that if he didn't feel that he was going to be completely healthy, if he couldn't give, what that organization needed, either with the Saints or somewhere else.
Yeah.
That, let's step away. And Derek Carr has been involved in so many great things over the years.
Yeah.
As far as giving back, not only to this community, but every community that he's been involved in. He has touched those communities.
Right.
And to have him back here in Fresno now, I mean, it's just great for the Central
He
Valley.
was always a 100% guy, so if he couldn't give it 100% anymore, he was not going to do it. So got to give him props there. Number 2, Fresno State baseball. our man Ryan Overland and the boys, huh?
Yeah, you know, some people might say, hey, how do you have Fresno State baseball so high, right, on the list? Well, in my opinion, Fresno State is kind of the centerpiece of the Central Valley, and that's where we focus a ton of our attention on. And Fresno State baseball with Ryan Overland winning a second straight title, getting back to the NCAA tournament. The next step, obviously, is trying to get a win there, you know, in an NCAA regional. But winning that one, and the way they did it too, Dean, because that was some dramatic baseball there, especially in the second game, you know, against Nevada. 14-inning thriller. Murph Gray, who was named MVP, you know, of that tournament.
Sure.
You know, with a 3-run double in like the 14th inning. You got a freshman from Clovis West, Tyler Patrick, who pitches 3 scoreless innings in that game, and that kind of launched them into the next day when they finished off the title. And then you had, I think it was, you know, 4 guys, I believe, who were drafted from that team in the first 10 rounds of the Major League Baseball draft. So it just shows you what kind of talent they have.
Absolutely. Ryan Overland doing a great job with that program. We're really proud of him. And then let's go to football now. Number 1.
Yeah, number 1, you know, it was an 8-4 season, so not necessarily like a championship season why they get number 1. But I think with Matt Ensign, just him being hired and Fresno State going in the direction you know, of Matt Entz and kind of stepping into him as a culture builder and everything else. And I think we saw signs this year that the future is very bright for Fresno State football. We'll see how they look in the bowl game here coming up. And also getting those rivalry wins that they did. I know that they dropped that one to San Diego State at home, but to go to Boise, win in Boise.
Defeat the Mountain West champs, by the way.
The Mountain West champs.
On their own soil, on their own turf. On the blue.
Get the milk can. And then finishing off the year as well.
With the Valley Championship
in San Jose with the Valley Trophy. Last time those 2 teams will be playing as Mountain West rivals. So I think Matt Entz and just him being hired and kind of, you know, installing his culture, his program, and where the future might go deserves a spot at number 1.
Yeah, I think the culture change is a big deal. I can see it kind of turning. I'm excited to see what happens next year. So, and we'll be there to cover it. So it's gonna be great. By the way, a little plug: watch Bulldog Insider after Sunday Night Football here for the rest of the season with Scott, Angelique, and Dylan. All right, here's the 5 national stories. I'm gonna kind of lead this one. We'll start with honorable mention really quick, kind of a number 6. Tons of coaching changes in college football recently in the last 2 months, really. Lane Kiffin is the big news, going from Ole Miss to LSU. James Franklin kind of started it off with Penn State, you know, leaving Penn State, he gets fired and he goes to Virginia Tech. And then now the Sharon Moore stuff at Michigan, getting fired for cause, charges against him. So that's kind of where we are with college football. Anything you want to say on honorable mention?
Well, yeah, I think Lane Kiffin kind of had the attention of the country there, you know, for about a week. And so I definitely think that deserves at least a mention, you know, in some way. So I'm glad you had that in there, you know, as honorable mention.
Sure.
I mean, we're right in the middle of it. So again, like I said, recency bias a little bit. We're kind of feeling like that is kind of the biggest story going on right now.
Still a lot of jobs not filled too at this point too. There's still a few out there.
And just with the way that some of these things are happening, right? You know, like the Michigan stuff. I mean, what's going on? You know, like
nobody
with
knows.
Michigan, it seems like every week there's a new thing. I mean, I even saw, I think it was today, there was a new thing with another Michigan staffer involved in some bad stuff. Yeah.
So. All right, number 5. I'm just going to kind of generalize these all together. We've had a lot of stunning media deals involving the sports world. The NBA moved from TNT to ESPN and Prime Video. Major League Baseball is moving its Sunday night franchise to NBC, so you'll see that coming our way. It will affect Bulldog Insider as well, so stay tuned on some programming changes there. And then Disney purchased the NFL Red Zone and the NFL Network. So just a lot of crazy kind of media stuff going on. There's more to come. There's some more purchases and business involvement there. So I just want to kind of get that in as number 5. Any comment on that?
Well, it feels like as sports viewers, right, people who consume sports on television like you and me do on a regular basis, we're in that like transition zone, right, where the old days of the linear television networks and all that stuff are slowly kind of fading away, or at least, you know, we're not going to be as prevalent as they once were, and we're kind of heading towards that new era of streaming.
Yes.
I know personally, I'm still kind of an old dinosaur with the way that I use the remote, and I've got the cable and this and that.
Same.
And, I mean, I have the ability to stream, and I can put it on the TV. I still get frustrated when I can't change off a streaming channel, you know, real quickly though, like I could with a cable channel, right?
Yeah, you got to get your HDMIs working on there. So that's kind of an interesting number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with the hockey world. Washington Capitals forward Alexander Ovechkin passed Hall of Famer Wayne Gretzky to become the all-time leading goal scorer in the National Hockey League. It took 895 goals to break the record, and Ovechkin is now well over 900 and still going. So any thoughts on Alexander?
It's funny when you look at Alexander, I mentioned it, right? Last year when he broke the record, when you look at him out of uniform and everything, he's got kind of the gray going on the beard. He's got the gray everywhere. It's kind of like when you were watching Phillip Rivers play on Monday Night Football.
It's crazy.
You're kind of looking at it and saying, wait, is this really an NFL quarterback, or is this somebody playing an NFL quarterback in a movie or something like that?
True.
But somehow Ovi keeps getting it done. And just think about that.
Over 900 goals.
You know how hard it is to get one goal in the NHL?
Yes, I've watched enough hockey in my life to know how painful a lot of these guys, how painful it is for him to go through this process. And for him to have the longevity and to win a Stanley Cup, very, very cool. So international player as well, which is great. Number 3, not a great moment for the United States, but for the world. The 2025 edition of the Ryder Cup, the European side led by Captain Luke Donald defeated the American side led by Keegan Bradley at Bethpage Black in New York by a score of 15-13. It was the first win by a road team since the Europeans did it in 2012 at Medina. So we've talked about this before. Tough moment for the Americans, but kind of shows the strength of the Europeans. They put a lot of investment in these team events, and it shows. Scotty?
And I think the popularity of that event this year in New York also shows you the strength of the sport of golf still. Like, there's a lot of people out there, and some of it is justified for sure, talking about the split and what's happening and this and that. But the sport of golf is still really healthy. Even post-Tiger, there's stars, and everybody was dialed in on that Ryder Cup, especially on the last day when the Americans kind of made it interesting. Right in the middle of football season, sometimes hard to get people to kind of tune into a Ryder Cup like that. But that one had juice for sure and energy. And I guess one thing coming out of that is maybe we want to look at maybe behaving a little better as like fans and things like that. I mean, love the passion, love the energy, love the uniqueness of that event for golf and everything that entails. But there's a line that we don't want to cross.
And it definitely was crossed there for sure. I want to mention on honorable mention too, Rory McIlroy completes the career Grand Slam, wins the Masters too. That was kind of on the list as well.
Yeah,
he had a heck of a year.
That could easily be in this top 5.
Rory had it excellent.
That was a huge moment.
So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that kind of as an honorable mention.
Especially considering he almost gave it away, right?
True.
That made that moment even
to
more
another
impressive.
European winner on the Ryder Cup, Justin Rose. So, all right, number 2, in a stunning blockbuster trade, the Dallas Mavericks traded all-star Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. The Lakers also received Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris in the deal. So there's a lot to be said about this deal. I mean, obviously, Nico Harrison, who is the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, is no more. There was a kind of a issue between him and Doncic about fitness, about effort. And honestly, I think the Lakers obviously came out on the better end of this deal. Looking at it right now, Lakers are a contender this year. The Mavericks are kind of fighting from behind. So your thoughts on this?
Well, we've got a trimmed down Luka, Anthony. Sadly, Anthony Davis, still struggling to stay healthy consistently. Although he has been playing better recently.
Right.
I'll give AD props.
No, he's been playing well recently,
still playing
injury
hard
prone.
I mean, it's health with him. That's the only thing holding him back. But yeah, this is a trade that will live on for years and years and years to come. And anytime anything happens with the Mavericks or anything happens with the Lakers going forward, it's all going to circle back to this.
Yeah, and kudos to Rob Pelinka for pulling that deal off, man. I still don't know. The only other thing I don't know how happened more is my number 1. The Los Angeles Dodgers became the first baseball team to win back-to-back world championships since 2000. The Yankees three-peated from 98 to 2000. The Dodgers beat the Toronto Blue Jays in a memorable, epic 7-game series, 4-3, capping off with that Game 7. Miguel Rojas hitting the home run to tie it, and Will Smith hitting the home run to win it. Surrounded by plays at the plate and running over guys in the outfield to make catches. I mean, Scotty, I still don't know how the Dodgers got it done as a Dodger fan. Your thoughts?
Well, I got a feeling that Dean put that number 1 on the list just because he wanted to relive it all over again and continue to talk about it.
Completely unbiased.
Yeah, I mean, baseball at its best. Baseball at its absolute best in the late innings of that Game 7 and Game 6 to some degree as well. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a game that will just go down in the annals of history of how in the world did the Dodgers end up winning that game. And the game of inches that's involved in sports sometimes. You can play 162 regular season games. You can play however many postseason games, 20, 30 postseason games if you make it to the World Series.
Right.
But in the end, it can come down to a quarter of an inch at the plate, because that's what happened.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, or an incredible
blowing
catch
blowing somebody up in the outfield to make a catch to save the game. So.
And isn't that what's great about sports on some
so
level?
Great.
I mean, you feel for the Blue Jays if you're not a Dodgers fan.
You do feel for the Blue Jays. They played hard.
On some level, but there's a winner and a loser, and that's why people watch sports.
Yeah. All right, before we get into our money plays, we're just going to wrap these college football quarterfinal games over. We're taping this show. It's going to air over the holiday and stuff. So we got Ohio State and Miami will be the first game out of the chute for the quarterfinals in the Cotton Bowl. Miami beat Texas A&M. Ohio State gets the bye. They're a 9.5-point favorite, Scott, heading into this game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, we were talking about it before the show, and I just have a feeling that the Miami Magic might run out a little bit here against Ohio State. I think the biggest thing that's going to be in play here is Miami was able to beat Texas A&M with Carson Beck not having a great game, right? And it was clear pretty early on that maybe he didn't have to play that great because Miami's defense was as dominant as they were, but Miami won that game with their defense. In this game, I think it's going to be tough for Miami, to score points. And so maybe their defense can hold Ohio State down, but I just have a feeling that, at some point Ohio State is going to find the end zone with those, that talent that they have on the outside, that kind of bruising rushing attack they have.
Yeah.
And, they got a solid quarterback, obviously, insane. And so if Miami wants a chance to pull the upset here, Carson Beck is going to have to make some plays in this game.
No question.
I don't know if he can do it against that defense. And in fact, I think there might be a better chance of them falling behind, him starting to press a little bit.
Okay.
And then once you start to press, boom, pick six happens, or strip sack fumble or something weird like that.
He hasn't played great either in these last couple games, so we'll see what kind of happens there. So I do have a play on this game. I'm going to save mine. Let's get to the Orange Bowl. We've got Oregon, who comes off that win against James Madison, now playing Texas Tech down in Miami. Oregon is a 1.5-point favorite as the 5 seed over the 4. Your thoughts?
This, to me, is the most interesting game. May not be the most high-profile game. Obviously, Indiana, Alabama at the Rose Bowl. Can't wait to watch that. Ohio State, Miami. I mean, these are like big name programs that are going at it. So it's 4 great quarterfinals that we've got on our hands here. But this is the most interesting game to me because we're going to find out a lot about Texas Tech in this game. How good was the Big 12? During the regular season, was Texas Tech deserving of that first round bye? Of being a top 4 seed, basically in the college football playoff. I know they can do it defensively, Dean, or at least they've done it in the Big 12.
Right.
And so, I think defensively they've got dudes. We've talked about it before. They went out and spent millions and millions of dollars on NIL.
Right. But
ultimately, can Texas Tech's offense, with their quarterback, who at times when I've watched them play, he hasn't looked. He's had shaky moments, put it that way.
Great question. I mean, it's a great point you're bringing up.
He's had some shaky moments. He's had moments that have been, he's had some nice moments too, but it hasn't, the consistency hasn't always been there offensively. And so to me, again, it kind of comes down to the quarterback play for Texas Tech. Can they put 20, 30 on the board against Oregon? Because I do feel like Oregon will score some against that defense. Yeah,
Oregon's defense is what I'm a little concerned about, a little suspect there. It's going to be interesting. This Texas Tech team, can they score on offense? That's really what it's going to kind of come down to. All right, we go to the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, Indiana. Who's always in the Rose Bowl, right? No. This is Indiana's first trip in a long time, going against a team that has been there before recently, Alabama. Indiana is a touchdown favorite in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Scotty, take it away.
How about that? 5 years ago, Dean, if you had said, hey, come 2025 in the Rose Bowl, Indiana's going to be a 7-point favorite over Alabama.
I wonder what the futures market would look like on that number, right? Indiana, a 5-year future on if they get into the Rose Bowl.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about, but it just shows you how quickly things can change.
Yeah.
And if you get the right coach in there and you get the right support, a fan base can be reignited.
Yep.
And, there's going to be tons of Indiana people coming out to the West Coast for that Rose Bowl game, right? I bet they're going to outnumber Alabama fans. We'll see in that game.
Yep.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough. It's like it feels like it's candy, right? Like you're getting a touchdown with Alabama,
right?
Talk me off of that,
I mean, I can't. I mean, honestly, you've got Kalen DeBoer getting a touchdown in the Rose Bowl. I mean, sign me up. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I got to play on this, so we'll leave it.
How great is the Rose Bowl?
It's the best. I just hope they have great weather. Our own Angelique Martinez is going to be there, so she's going to send some pictures for us. But it's going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to it.
Two West Coast guys who've been to a few Rose Bowls.
I've been to one.
Okay, yeah. I've been to several Rose Bowls over the year. I mean, if you ever have an opportunity to go to a big time game, a big time Rose Bowl, this is the game to
So
go
why the heck does UCLA not want to play in this venue anymore? I don't get it.
But things are different for regular season games at the Rose Bowl. I'm talking about the Rose Bowl game is what I'm talking about.
All right, let's go to Bourbon Street now. We're going to the Sugar Bowl. We got Georgia, 6.5-point favorite over Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's off to LSU, but Ole Miss keeps rolling. So now they're going to play Kirby and the boys. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, you got an SEC rematch here, right?
We do.
And you're getting nearly a touchdown in a rematch. Sugar Bowl in New Orleans there. I mean, Georgia's always going to travel well, but that should be pretty split, right? Yep. You'd imagine. I mean, Ole Miss actually a little bit closer there to New Orleans. If you're talking about the fan bases, I don't think there's a huge difference between these two teams in what I've seen, at least during the regular season. Ole Miss, I think, kind of playing with a little chip on their shoulder, actually, with all the Lane Kiffin stuff and everything else, maybe trying to prove some people wrong. I would lean, I don't know, I don't have an official play on any of these playoff games, but I would probably lean Ole Miss there.
Okay. All right.
The points.
All right. Well, let's get into our money plays. All right, money plays, guys. This is what we do in the show. We start with $1,000 of hypothetical money. Scotty and I try to get to beat each other to get the highest total. So I'm going to start it off really quick. So I got a bunch of plays. I'm going to go fast. A $25 NCAA football parlay. Give me BYU money line, Fresno State money line, and Pitt money line, and UT San Antonio. I'm getting 3-1. So there's that. Give me Fresno State straight, -5.5 against Miami of Ohio. I have faith in Matt Enns and the boys. I'm going to go with it. Give me USC playing TCU without Josh Hoover at quarterback, -6.5 down there in Texas. I got a parlay with Vandy, Texas, and Utah, all big favorites. Very small parlay there. Now we get to the playoff games. Give me Ohio State -6.5 against Miami. I bought it down a little bit. Give me Texas Tech money line against Oregon. Again, that defense. I'll take Alabama. I raised it up to 7.5 touchdown, a little bit higher against Indiana, 75 to win 56. Give me Georgia and that 6.5 against Ole Miss. I think the run stops here. And then I threw a $400 out there at the end. Just give me Ohio State and Utah. Ohio State against Miami. Utah's playing Nebraska minus Dylan Raiola, trying to win the month. So that's what I've got. So Scotty's got one team teaser here, a 2-teamer, and then he's got some more plays that he's going to do on Twitter.
Yeah, got a 7.2 team teaser here. These are bowl games that are happening, I think, in the next couple days.
I got the date on there, 12/24 and 12/26.
Yeah, so you got Christmas Eve there, the Hawaii Bowl, a Christmas Eve tradition unlike any other. Dean.
That's right.
Cal,
that's right.
I'm gonna bump it up.
Mela Kalikimaka.
So a 2-team teaser. You gotta have to have both these bets win, but you get to bump it up by a certain point total. So I get to bump up the line. Cal from +1.5 to +8.5. Central Michigan from +10.5 to +17.5 there. Here's the deal. Cal, their quarterback, can't pronounce his name, but he is of Samoan descent, I believe. He is from Hawaii.
Yeah.
So he's going to be excited to go back and play in this game. He's a really talented guy. Cal's got a new coach. They're in a coaching transition there.
They are.
But they looked okay like in their final regular season game, and I think they're going to be somewhat motivated in this game because their quarterback's going back there and because apparently they have made a point, the new coach, who's a former Oregon assistant, to kind of keep him in the program.
Okay.
And so the quarterback sounds motivated. I think that'll rub off on the rest of the team. Maybe a lot of points there, but if I'm getting over 8.5 against Hawaii, an ACC team against a Mountain West team,
For sure.
Mountain West has not looked good so far in bowl season. And then Central Michigan playing close to home there in Detroit against Northwestern. Two good, solid defensive teams. If I can get 17.5 in a defensive struggle, I'll take it.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this season. Scotty, it's been a blast doing this show with you. Thank you for the opportunity. Please like and subscribe to the show. It's on YouTube. We're on the CBS. We're in the KC24 CBS 47 app. We're going to be back this next year. We're going to keep firing plays off and having a good time. So on behalf of Scott, I'm Dean. This has been the Beam and Dean Show.